What a ball.
Hawaiian punch.
Wow!
Punch.
It's not just red anymore. Fruit juice is yellow, orange, green, and blue.
Punch.
Wow!
Hawaiian punch. Nothing else has the punch.
Keep it going!
Juicy punch.
How about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
It's not just red anymore.
Nothing else has the punch.
Hey, Hattie, don't matter about the pizza she saw. 2 big pizzas that'll fill your jaw. Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza. Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Surprise prize! 2 free prizes for kids. Now a Little Caesars.
Nickelodeon, take 50. We got it. Cut!
Here's some electrifying news. It's Nickelodeon's Megatoon Monday. Underdog will be back tomorrow, right here on...
Oh, Natasha, sometimes I get so mad.
But in the paper, it must be true.
Well, last time, you remember, we learned the details of the fiendish plot of the mental munching mice to take over the entire USA.
It's easy. We just get rid of television. Then everybody leaves country in disgust. Is our scorched air policy.
We also learned that the big cheese, leader of all the mice, is none other than that scurvy scoundrel, Boris Badenov.
The biggest threat of all.
And what of our heroes?
Yo, what?
Captured by the mice, they have been turned over to the tender mercies of Herman the Vermin Exterminator.
You gotta think of a way out of this mess, Rocky.
I can't, Bullwinkle. I'm too low in my mind.
Oh, say not so, Rocket. How come?
Well, just look at these pictures the Big Cheese gave us. His plan is working. People are leaving the country in droves.
Some of them in trains, too.
Oh, Bullwinkle, look there in the courtyard.
Why, it's that giant mousetrap we built.
Yeah, and I got a hunch it's going to be used pretty soon.
Well, you know the old saying, build a better mousetrap. And you are liable to wind up in it.
Funny thing about these pictures, Rock,
What's that, Bullwinkle?
I can't read the names on any of them.
Bullwinkle, you're right. That's not even English.
Well, that's good. I thought my eye pans were going back on me.
Those pictures weren't taken in America. People aren't leaving the country.
Nobody but us, huh?
We gotta figure a way out of this, Bullwinkle.
Like I said some time back. But how?
And indeed, it seemed difficult, for at that moment, Herman the Vermin Exterminator lumbered forward to spring the trap.
Well, goodbye, old pal. We've sure had some swell adventures together.
Yeah. I wonder how this one will come out after we're gone.
But amazingly enough, just as Herman reached forward, he slowed and stopped.
Bullwinkle, he's run down.
In a twinkling, the boys had freed themselves from their bonds.
Now, let's get out of here.
But though our boys didn't know it, they were under observation from a high window by the big cheese himself, Boris Badenov.
Quick, Natasha, they're loose.
What happened to Herman, darling?
You didn't wind him tight enough, honey bun. Quick, we must catch them.
And Boris and Natasha dashed into an adjoining room full of 6-foot mice and began to wind them up. And so as the boys started out of the courtyard...
Oh, Rock, we got company.
And I don't think he's gonna run down.
As the huge creature grabbed at him, Bullwinkle barely escaped, but Rocky wasn't so lucky.
Golly, he's got me cornered.
It looked bad for our hero, but Bullwinkle's flight had jogged a little more motion out of Herman the Vermin Exterminator, for he reached forward and completed springing the trap right in the mouse's tail.
Raskolnikov, squirrel has charmed life, Natasha. Why don't we have luck like that?
Maybe he has a good fairy, darling.
Good fairy, good fairy. Why is there never bad fairy?
Well, our boys made it to the back gate and were just a few steps from freedom when Rocky suddenly stopped short.
Pray tell, why are you stopping short, Rocky?
You ever try to stop long?
But we're almost there.
Bullwinkle, we're not running away.
We're not?
No.
Then how come I'm all out of breath?
Well, you go on if you want to, Bullwinkle, but I'm going back to Blickley Mansion.
Okay, Rock, anything you say.
Gee, you're brave, Bullwinkle.
Yeah, I bet I'm the bravest coward in these parts.
And peering out of his tower window, Boris could hardly believe his eyes.
Look, Natasha! The flies are coming back into the spider web, all by themselves. Oh, Natasha, maybe there is Bad Fairy after all.
Well, is there? We'll find out next time in Big Cheese Boris, or I'd Rather Be Rat.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the...
Hi, Dad. Well, where you going?
Baseball park, son.
Gonna see a game?
No, I'm donating this bag to the team. Seems that during the game yesterday, some scallywag stole second base, and...
Pop, you don't understand.
disgraceful act.
But, Dad, when a player steals second...
I also thought I'd hang this out in the bleachers. Honesty is the best policy. You like it?
Oh, it's keen, Dad. But about second base.
Speaking of honesty is the best policy, have I ever related the fable of the frogs and the beaver?
You see, Dad, a man on first is allowed to run to second when he...
Once upon a time, there was a lake. Now, this lake was set so deep in the forest that it was virtually uninhabited, which meant that no one lived there. Well, practically no one. For you see, a beaver had come across this lovely spot and built a resort home right on the shore. Now, our fable could have ended right there, and everything would have been lovey-dovey, if it weren't for two frogs that happened to come along. Their names, Romeo and Julius.
That is what I call gracious living.
Gracious, yes.
How comes that beavers has always got the easy life?
Yeah. Why do us frogs always have to live on a lily pad?
Julius, if that is your name, let us take this home away from yon beaver.
Romeo had a plan. It was both ingenious and colorful.
Hey, Romeo, what's the big idea?
You are sick. That's right, Beaver. My friend here is in dire distress.
Got a frog in my throat.
No, you have not. You got the pox.
Chicken pox? Frog pox.
And with that, Julius went into a frenzied exhibition of a frog with the 7-year itch. Of course, the unsuspecting beaver was scared out of his wits, not to mention the house. Well, sir, inside of 1 week, the once charming little retreat was turned into a shambles.
Now, the runner on first has to keep his eye on the catcher, Dad.
That little beaver, though, was as industrious as they come. He got as far away from the frogs as he could and erected a small but comfortable cabin. However, the cabin wasn't far enough away from those frogs.
That is what I call rustic living.
Gracious, yes. I mean rustic, yes.
I like this place much better than the joint we're in now.
Once more, the clever frog launched a plan.
That frog, he's busting my pipe.
That beaver happens to be the famous forest ranger, Smokey the Frog. He's just putting a fire out.
Oh, my goodness. I suppose he'll want to confiscate my matches, too, huh?
Oh, you should never say the word matches. It sends Smokey into a veritable rage. Makes him mad, too.
The beaver took off again, leaving the frog his second place.
Did you say second base?
Second place. This time, it took the frogs only 3 days to demolish their new abode. And although 3 days isn't much time, it was all the beaver required to construct a rambling hacienda right beside a roaring river.
Now, that's what I call hacienda living. Hey, ain't you gonna say hacienda, yes?
I can't speak Spanish.
Oh. Well, seeing as how our present premises is a shambles, let us swindle our way into this place.
You have to give the frog credit. He had an unlimited supply of plans. But so did the beaver.
Now, look, I put the fire out, and I've given myself a case of frog pox, so it's no use trying to intimidate me any further.
Oh,
Oh, we wouldn't intimidate you for the world, Beaver.
Besides, I didn't build this house here myself.
Who did you build it for?
You.
The frogs were shocked, but not so shocked that they didn't move in and make themselves at home. As for the beaver, this was all part of a cunning scheme in which he'd be free of the frogs once and for all, because you see, haciendas are made of dry mud. And you know what happens to dry mud when it's hit by rain. It becomes wet mud. Yes, sir. Inside of Nothing Flat, that hacienda slid into the roaring river. And as for the frogs inside it, they were carried off by the current, never to be seen again. At least not on this show. And that's why I always say honesty is the best policy.
You could also say, grime does not pay.
Yeah, I could, but I won't. Well, bye-bye, son. I've got to deliver this second base.
Well, there goes Pop. Generous as they come. Oh, my gosh. I just happened to think. Supposing there's a game today and somebody steals home.
Well, it seems that our heroes are leaping from the frying pan into the fire, for they are actually returning to Bleakley Mansion, hideout of the dreadful 6-foot metal-munching mechanical mice.
Toonie's calling us, Bullwinkle.
I'm a little hard of hearing myself.
High on the roof, the big cheese, alias Boris Badenov, had already spotted them.
Let's give them old-fashioned Badenov welcome.
How's that, darling?
We throw flowers.
Throw flowers?
Still in pots, of course.
And the scurvy sneak hurled a large urn down at our friends. Fortunately, the quick-witted squirrel saw it coming.
Bullwinkle. There's a great big flower pot coming down right at your head.
You're a fast thinker, Rock, but you're kind of a slow talker.
However, since the flower pot had struck Bullwinkle squarely on the head, little damage had been done.
I don't know. That pot's never going to be the same again.
In a moment, our heroes found themselves in the kitchen of Bleakley Mansion.
Now to plan our attack, Bullwinkle.
Attack? How are we going to attack a 6-foot mouse that bites through metal?
Well, it looked as if our boys might have the chance to find out, for in the room above them, Boris and Natasha were busy winding up a whole platoon of the monsters.
Got control set, Natasha?
Yes, darling.
Okay, you little nippers, go get them.
And the mechanical mice moved toward the kitchen door. Inside, our heroes were still thinking frantically.
Bullwinkle, we gotta come up with an answer.
I got one.
What is it, Bullwinkle?
Vienna, Austria in 1758.
That's the answer?
Yes.
What's the question?
I don't know. Sure is a keen answer, though.
Not to our problem, it's not.
Oh, that.
How do you beat a metal-munching mechanical mouse?
Easy. I'll just take this iron poker, and I'll walk right up to all of them, and I'll...
You what?
I'll pull back an iron stump.
Close the door, Bullwinkle.
And the moose slammed the kitchen door on the intruder and braced himself against it.
Those monsters will eat anything.
That's it, Bullwinkle. They'll eat anything.
You notice kind of an echo in here?
I'm gonna cook up something special.
Rocky, if you flipped your goggles, they're gonna come busting through that door any minute.
Don't worry, we'll be ready.
And Rocky set to work in the kitchen while Bullwinkle held the door against the attack of the ravenous mechanical mice.
Hurry, Rock, they're munching right through the doors.
Hold on, Bullwinkle. The caramels are almost cool.
Caramels?
They're for the mice.
I always knew you were good-hearted, Rock, but this is ridiculous.
Okay, Bullwinkle, stand aside.
As Bullwinkle stepped back, the 6-foot mice poured into the room. Quickly, Rocky gathered up an armful of caramels, and as the mice crashed after him, began to toss them back at his pursuers, who snapped at them furiously.
Oh, my plan is working.
Yes, the plan had worked. After crunching down on those chewy caramels, the huge mice could no longer open their mouths to bite anything. Powerless to attack our friends, they beat a hasty retreat.
They're going, Bullwinkle. Now let's find out where they came from. What's the matter, Bullwinkle? Cat got your tongue?
Not cat. Caramels.
Boy, this is sure going to cut down on the dialogue.
In a room not far away, Boris and Natasha were inspecting the mice.
They're ruined, Natasha.
They can't bite anybody, Boris.
Bite? They couldn't even gum anybody.
We will have to overhaul them, darling.
Tot on you, born. Plenty more where these came from.
You mean?
Yes. Look there.
Sure enough, far above the house was a... Well, good heavens, that's a spaceship.
You were expecting maybe seagulls?
But what What,
It's time to go now.
but...
Anyway, be with us next time for the Space Rat.
Or of Mice and Menace.
Yes, you do that.
Don't go away. Nick's Megatoon Monday will be right back.
Ren and Stimpy, an ode to friendship.
My friend.
Now cut that out!
Every Sunday at 11:10 Central on Nick.
Micro Machine! Oh, yeah! Ready for battle!
We were surrounded, but we would not give up the base. Incoming fire was getting closer. They scored a direct hit on the bridge, but we're still holding on. We launched our air attack. Our Micro Machine's military men, tanks, and choppers are ready for battle. They scored 2 more direct hits. Then we hit them with everything we had. The base was saved.
Micro Machine! We got it!
Yeah!
Wolf Ridge playset and vehicle packs with figures, each sold separately. You put it together.
When you get up in the morning and you want to take your fun.
Call for Sugar Bear and Golden Crisp, the golden tasting one. With a touch of golden honey for a taste of solid gold. Crispy Crunch we got a munch, makes that golden taste explode.
Can't get enough of that golden taste. Can't get enough golden crisp.
So to make your morning golden, get the flavor going fast. It's Golden Crisp cereal, the golden tasting blast.
Can't get enough of that golden taste. Can't get enough golden crisp.
It's the golden tasting part of this complete breakfast.
I couldn't get this tune out of my head till I heard these flowers, then a heartbeat, and the sound of mushrooms sprouting. It was raining cats and dogs in harmony. Then airplanes hit the high notes. Even the stars came out to play. Hey, I think I just wrote a song.
Mario Paint. Draw and make music. Only on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
You're watching Nickelodeon. And now, back to Megatoon Monday.
And now, here with an unlimited supply of misinformation is Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, Inquesters out there. Today I shall instruct you on how to cook a turkey's goose. The first step in cooking a turkey is to preheat the oven to 6,000 degrees.
Don't you think that's awfully hot?
Only for the turkey. Now, while the oven is preheating, we go out in search of a turkey. There are many ways of snaring a turkey, the most surefire of which is to shake some paprika on his nose. This not only stops him from taking flight, but clears up the sinuses as well. The second surefire way is to utilize the turkey in the straw trap. This consists of a deep pit covered with a straw mat. We sprinkle turkey seeds on the mat. The turkey comes after the seeds, steps on the mat, and walks off into the forest. Perhaps the turkey does not weigh enough. But the moose does. The third surefire method of catching a turkey is the last and never fails. Mr. Butcher, let me have a turkey, please. And now all that remains is to cook the bird in the preheated oven.
But, Mr. Know-It-All, I still think the oven at 6,000 degrees is too hot.
It couldn't be. I haven't lit it yet. So, taking a match, I walk into the kitchen and...
Well, thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
You're welcome down there.
Hello out there. Peabody and Sherman here.
I ordered the Wayback Machine like you told me, Mr. Peabody.
And just in time, Sherman, because we have a date with one of America's greatest patriots.
Ponsonby Britt?
No, Sherman. This patriot made a historic ride on the night of April 18th, 1775. And the man in question, Paul Revere. Without any further ado, the Wayback Machine teleported us back to Paul Revere's copper shop. Inside, we found not Mr. Revere, but rather Mrs.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, madam. We should like to speak to your husband.
So would I. He hasn't been inside the shop for 3 days. All he does is sit on that horse and back, waiting for the British to come.
We wasted no time in joining the eager coppersmith.
Don't stand too close, boys. Soon as I see the lanterns, I'm off to warn Lexington.
But, Mr. Revere, your horse...
No time for idle conversation, lad. I've got some writing to do.
But you don't understand.
One if by land, two if by sea, one if by land.
Mr. Revere, I feel it only fair to warn you that unless you change horses, you won't be riding anywhere.
What are you talking about?
You are sitting on a statue.
Say, how about that? I was wondering why he didn't eat much hay.
Mr. Peabody, there's a light in the tower.
Sure enough, Sherman had spotted the signal.
How many lanterns, boy? One or two?
3.
They must be coming both by land and by sea.
Step back. I gotta warn the country. Giddy up, boy. Giddy up.
Mr. Revere, the statue, remember?
Oh, yes. Sure was a quiet horse, though.
I sent Sherman to search the town for another horse.
This hog was the only animal I could find, Mr. Peabody.
Well, you can't expect me to ride that, can you?
You have no alternative.
Why don't I try to start the statue? You never know. It may run.
And with that, Paul Revere begged, pleaded, even tried to bribe his favorite horse.
Yes, ain't no use. I guess the hog'll have to do.
Unfortunately, the hog was as contrary as the statue.
Golly, Mr. Peabody, he won't budge.
And I gotta get to Lexington to warn the people.
Now, what would cause a hog to run? I have it. Mr. Revere, the magic words are hog fat.
Hog fat?
Look at him go!
Yes. No hog wants to be turned into hog fat.
Well, I guess we can go home now that Mr. Revere's on his way.
I'm afraid not, Sherman. You see, Paul Revere just went north. Lexington is south. Well, by now, there were 5 lanterns in the tower, so the situation, as you could see, was desperate. Sherman and I headed for Lexington as fast as we could. And speaking of Lexington, a certain American general, who shall be nameless, was in town spearheading an enlistment drive.
I tell you, we need soldiers.
And Lexington is proud to do its part, General.
Proud? You mean you're proud of one old man and 2 dogs? The dogs we can use. But the old man...
Forgive the intrusion, gentlemen, but we're here to tell you the British are coming.
Oh, did you see him?
No, but we saw the lanterns.
Well, then you mean the lanterns are coming, not the British.
We mean the British are coming.
Oh, I'm sorry, but the only way I'll believe that is when Paul Revere tells me. Now, about those 2 dogs...
But Paul Revere may not get here until it's too late, Mr. Peabody.
He may never get here, Sherman. I have it. Pardon me, General, but I understand you need soldiers.
I sure do.
Well, I don't know whether you're familiar with New England customs, but up here, the only way to get soldiers is to issue the Boston Back Bay battle cry.
I don't think I know it.
Oh, it's quite simple, sir. You merely shout the word Suey.
Suey?
Suey. Well, 1 minute later, the hills surrounding Lexington were reverberating with that famous old hog call.
Suey! 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 Suey!
Inside of a quarter of an hour, every hog in the vicinity was thundering down Lexington's main street, and among them was our hog-fat hog, carrying Paul Revere.
The British are coming! The British and the hogs are coming!
Golly, Mr. Peabody, what a brilliant idea.
Yes, wasn't it?
That battle cry was an inspiration. So far, we've signed up 420 men. Oh, I tell you, it was unbelievable. I gave that yell in exactly 60 seconds. We had a line.
Would you call them 60-second men, Mr. Peabody?
Of course not, Sherman. I'd call them Minutemen.
Well, last time our heroes were one up on the mysterious metal-munching mechanical mice. For Rocky fed them some chewy caramel, and they couldn't open their mouths to bite anything.
Always somebody's got to gum up the works.
But Boris Badenov, alias the Big Cheese, wasn't too worried.
There's always more where they come from.
And where did they come from? Apparently from the strange-looking craft which was slowly settling to the ground next to the mansion.
Bullwinkle, that looks like a spaceship.
Yeah, probably cause it is.
And as our heroes watched in amazement, the spaceship began to unload a cargo of monstrous mechanical mice.
You know what this means, Bullwinkle?
It means we're gonna run out of cheese in a hurry.
No, it means the fiendish plot against the country may succeed after all.
What plot is that?
Bullwinkle, haven't you been following the story?
Well, it's tough to follow it and be in it at the same time, Doc.
Okay, fill 'em
Well, the fiendish plot is this. Boris Badenov, alias the Big Cheese, is importing mechanical metal munching mice from some mysterious place or other and sending them out at night to destroy television antennas all over the country.
Oh, boy, I could see it now. TV sets all go dark. People got nothing to do, get bored. Everybody goes to some other country to watch Late Late Show.
Then we take over a whole deserted US of A.
Just imagine, Natasha, being only people in town like New York City, parking backwards in middle of one-way street,
Shooting slingshot at pigeons in parks.
drawing mustaches on pictures of pretty girls,
Throwing custard pies at statues in parks.
betting baseballs through windows of UN building.
We could even sell Brooklyn Bridge.
Again, you mean? It will be just, you'll pardon the expression, heavenly.
Is first-class fiendish plot, darling.
Should be. Is disapproved by Bad Housekeeping magazine.
And the two villains set to work to wind up the fearsome creatures for the terrible task ahead. Meanwhile, our heroes were watching the mechanical mice disembark from the strange craft.
If we could just find out where they come from.
From that spaceship.
Yeah, but where does it come from?
That's your question.
Well, let's sneak up on it and see.
And our friends drew nearer and nearer the spaceship. Unaware that eyes were watching them, they approached alone and unprotected.
Yeah, how come we never got a gang on our side, Rock?
Well, you can't be a hero if you got a gang with you.
It might be nice just once to be a safe coward.
Back in Bleakley Manor, Boris and Natasha had wound up their wind-up job.
Darling, spaceship is ready to go.
And Boris quickly slipped on his disguise as the Big Cheese, leader of the mechanical mice.
Do I look like rat, Natasha?
Of course, darling. To me, you always look like rat.
Flatterer.
And the disguised Boris made his way to the ship. Unfortunately for our heroes, he and they arrived at the same time.
Bullwinkle, it's the Big Cheese. Let's go.
Right.
Not that way, this way.
You mean towards him?
But he's all alone.
Couldn't we leave it like that?
But Bullwinkle conquered his urge to flee and dashed toward the Big Cheese. Of course, being a coward as well as a sneak, Boris turned tail and ran for his life.
Hey, you in the ship, save me, save me!
And as if in answer to Boris's frantic cry, a strange weapon emerged from the odd-looking craft, leveled at our friends, and fired. This our next episode, The Shot Heard Round the World, or The First National Bang.
Will Boris attempt further acts of destruction on our heroic pair? Or will he give up already?
You forget I'm professional villain.
Don't press that remote. Mega Mooserama Monday continues till 8. Only on Nick.
Hey there, fellow mutants. Zero in your brain. I'll be right back with another Nick's Kid Almanac. After this message from Mattel.
Come on, say the magic word. Barbie magic Bappies have a secret that they just can't hide. Come on, say the magic word. Flowers and roses, look what you can do. You can cut on pearls, swimsuit too. Come on and say the magic word. You got something special.
And the Barbie Splash and Fun Raft, a working shower. You put it together, don't sold separately.
Ready or not, fellow mutants, I'm back with more freaky facts on Nick's Kid Almanac. Punch yourself in the leg right now. There. Congratulations. You've just given yourself a Charlie horse. Why is it called a Charlie horse? Because people used to call old horses, especially ones with stiff legs, Charlie horses. And isn't your leg feeling a little stiff right now? If not, hit it again. Or better yet, hit someone else's leg. For more hard-hitting info, keep watching Nick's Kid Almanac.
The signal goes out. Crime is on the rise. Batman returns. Exploding with power, the Bat ski boat thunders ahead, bolting onto land for a missile attack.
Gotta fly, my dear Penguin Commando. The time has come to punish Batman. Batman?
Deep dive Batman surfaces.
Fire!
Tearing into battle, Batman blasts his torpedo.
Penguins all wet.
Gotham City's greatest hero, Batman returns.
Incredible.
Hey, Cosmo. How about a Big Mac? Hey, Cosmo.
What?
How about a Big Mac?
Just read my mind.
McDonald's, man. Let's ride.
Oh, let me just grab my...
I am hungry. So hungry. A rapping rhino? My name is DJ Rhino. I've been looking left and right for a cereal that will bore me, but there isn't one in sight.
Well, don't use your eyes. Just follow your nose to a fruit flavor surprise. Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal.
Fruit Loops?
Orange.
Lemon.
Cherry and lime. Part of a complete breakfast. That really makes them fine.
I got a colorful breakfast.
Another Fruit Loop stand.
And I got great taste.
Like me, Toucan Sam.
Yo, Sammy.